All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back here again for week number 11 of Pete's Power Rankings. Wow, 10 weeks down already in the NFL season. We're getting close to Thanksgiving. Football's really starting to ratchet up. Games are getting a lot closer. They're getting a lot more fun. It's been fantastic so far. Most teams with 8 games left in the season, some with only 7 left. It's really starting to get into it here. Let's start quickly here. I'm breaking down all 32 teams from top to bottom, slotting them into tiers. The big part of this, top 15. But let's start things out here real quickly. 32 through 24. These are your bottom of the barrel teams. I think these teams can really pack it up for next year. Some of these teams are a little spunky, but really not good overall. Okay, a little bit of back and forth here at the bottom tiers. Houston's still the worst team in the league. Couple of spots here. Vegas, man, absolute dumpster fire. I can't believe Josh McDaniels still has a job. Maybe he'll be fired by the time this thing's uploaded Tuesday, but just disaster losing at home against Jeff Saturday and the Colts. They've been awful. Saints, bad. Steelers, nice pickup. Broncos in Denver, it is let's ride, and the ride has been atrocious. They don't have a first-round pick this year and a second-round pick. It's the worst offense in football. Nathaniel Hackett has to go. One of the best defenses in football. I think the #1 scoring defense in football. Absolutely crazy. Cleveland, the biggest dropper in this category. 6 spots down. They're abysmal. They got absolutely housed by Miami. Coming off a bye. Complete embarrassment. Deshaun Watson's coming back, but it's going to be too little, too late. They need a fresh start. I wouldn't be surprised if there's talk about Kevin Stefanski getting fired. He's been real bad. Late game situations, and his team is not playing hard for him. Okay, let's get into these middle tier teams. 23 through 16. Some interesting teams right here, possibly making a push for a wild card spot. Little spunky teams. Some of these teams are sliding down. Some of these teams are sliding up. So an interesting middle tier group here. But let's get into it. LA Rams at 23, the biggest faller, 5 spots down. Cooper Kupp now out multiple weeks with a high ankle sprain. I could easily see them falling into the bottom tier group next week. This team is just bad. Bad offensively. The defense isn't consistent. There are now some serious rumblings. Maybe Sean McVay should have retired. Aaron Donald, same thing, because it's the worst Super Bowl title defense maybe ever. Only the 99 Broncos, possibly worse. They went 6-10, but that was after Elway retired, winning back-to-back Super Bowls. So really awful for the Rams. They're not going to get better anytime soon. You know, Detroit, big movers, back-to-back division wins, one of them at Chicago. Really nice for them. Good for Dan Campbell finally getting that road win with the Lions. They're spunky, man. The defense is playing so much better. They're not great, but they're playing so much better than they were. Offense is okay. Jared Goff can win some football games. You obviously need a better quarterback, but still not terrible. Good for them. Green Bay showing some life, down 14 to Dallas at home. Rallied back to win that game in overtime. Interesting couple of weeks coming up. They got Tennessee on Thursday night. Tennessee's a tough physical team, and then they're at the Eagles. So Packers win both of those games. They're right back into it. They lose both those games. They're pretty much out of it. So Packers, very interesting. And then the Washington Commanders at 17. I thought about maybe jumping them over the Chargers. Great win on the road with Taylor Heineke at the undefeated Eagles, snapping that streak. Pop the champagne. The 72 Dolphins finally keeping the streak alive. 4 out of 5 they've won. Great team. Their only loss at home against Minnesota, which is not looking like a bad loss right now. Kind of threw that game away, but Minnesota seems to way to pull games out of their ass. They win those tight, close games late. Really good for them in Philadelphia. Like them a lot. And then the Chargers coming in at 16. Not great against San Francisco, but they hung around, honestly. They weren't terrible. They're so beat up. I mean, they were down to like their 6th-string, 7th-string receiver, some shit like that. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen should be practicing this week. They're definitely all in the hunt for a wild card spot, so it should be interesting. All right, before we get into the top 15, which everyone came here for, drop a quick like on this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. New videos every single weekday. All right, let's get into it. Top 15. Okay, at number 15, I got the New England Patriots still at 15 here on a bye this week. Big game coming up. They got the Jets at home. They are currently sitting in 4th place at 5-4. But Bill Belichick's done a great job. This defense is absolutely lights out. They've been fantastic. The offense has been a little bit better. There's still a lot to be desired. The run game has been pretty okay. They've been really leaning on Ramondre Stevenson, who's really emerged as the #1 back option. Mac Jones, still nothing scary, but he makes some throws sometimes. The wide receivers are a lot better than they've had the previous 2 seasons. So New England's a very interesting team. They're going to play great defense. They're going to try and run the rock. They got a big one against the Jets at home, and then they're at Minnesota on Thanksgiving. At least it's at night, with Kirk Cousins and stuff. So interesting couple games coming up for the Patriots. So like I'm here at 15, we'll see what they do moving forward. Number 14, Seattle dropping 3 spots here. Lost in Germany to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And man, they were asleep for 3.5 quarters of this game. They were getting gashed by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay looked like they had a dominant run game against Seattle, which you haven't seen all year. I don't know if it's the super long flight, this, that, and the other. It's kind of weird. I'm going to drop the Seahawks down here. They're 6-4, sitting, waiting. San Francisco's nipping at their heels now in the division. They're going to have a bye this week. They're going to be able to rest up, heal up. Geno Smith was really bad for 3 quarters like the old Geno Smith, but a strong finish to an absolute dot at the end of that game. So I'm still a little iffy on the Seahawks. I don't think they're super talented. Pete's done a pretty good job coaching. You're going to have to lean on the run game. And if you have to lean on the run game and teams stop that, I just don't know if Geno Smith's going to be the guy yet. I mean, he's 32 years old. We still kind of know what Geno is. He's playing great out of his mind right now. But for now, Seattle at 14. We'll see. Okay, back into the top 15 in my good graces. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers up 3 spots. Back-to-back win for Tommy and the Bucs. Hey, Tom 2-0 as a divorced man. He's got a whole new lease on life. He's been really good. The offense has been so much better. And the defense finally stopped the run. They were getting gashed the last few weeks, and they really shut down the Seattle run game. It was a fun crowd in Germany. It's a really nice win. They're in first place in the pathetic NFC South. But hey, they're sitting here 5-5. Could be a lot worse. Obviously could be better. But hey, you don't really want to face Tom Brady in the playoffs. And if they keep this up, they're getting a home game in the first round. And then where are you going to? Minnesota? Maybe you're going to Philly? I don't know. But it could be really, really easy to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady sitting in the NFC Championship game once again. So for now, Tampa at 13, they're definitely trending up. They got to keep running the football. That really helped things out a lot. And they're starting to get healthier. Tommy's starting to trust some guys. Really interesting team moving forward. Okay, at number 12, I got the New York Jets. They were on a bye this week. Bumping them up a spot just because of what other teams did behind them. I really like this Jets team. They're young, they're spunky, they're playing fantastic defense, the pass rush in the middle, and they got lockdown corners on the back end. Life is super difficult for teams against the Jets. Really, the only way to beat this team is to establish a run game, make them try and slow down the pass rush, and hope you can make a play or two against those corners. But man, it's kind of tough out there. It's not a lot of open routes for anybody. So Jets got a lot of good games coming up. Like I said, they're at New England coming up, and then we'll see. They got to win in New England. They're currently in second place in the division, which is absolutely mind-boggling. 6-3, great job. Want to see some more running out of James Robinson getting into the offense. He had a bye week to fully get in. Zach Wilson played really good last week, or I should say 2 weeks ago at this point. Last game for the Jets. So he needs to keep that up. He needs to cut down on the turnovers, be efficient, good tight ends, good wide receivers. Like this Jets team a lot. We'll see. Hopefully they can get into the playoffs. Okay, number 11, I got the Giants at 11. I know they're sitting here at 7-2, but not really a convincing win against the Texans at home, and they're coming off a bye. Would have really liked them to dominate that game. They let the Texans back in late. Houston's a spunky squad, I know, but still, you should dominate that game at home. Saquon Barkley, 30-plus carries. My guy's got a massive injury history. I love to see that he's healthy and tearing people up, but if you're going to have to lean on Saquon like that, you're not going to beat any of these good teams in the NFL. Danny Dimes has got to pick up throwing. They're really, really lacking at wide receiver. Maybe you can sign an old face in OBJ. He's instantly your number 1 receiver, and you instantly get an upgrade. But I don't think OBJ's at that spot in his career after all these injuries off of that. I think he needs to be a number 2 to partner with somebody, and he will torch teams up like he did in LA when he's the secondary look. He's a fantastic wide receiver, but man, the Giants are really struggling there. Defense has been playing pretty good. Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year candidate, absolutely. They're only one game back of the Eagles now, but I really just don't trust this team. They got a couple of tough games coming up, so we'll really see what the Giants are made of. Okay, staying put at number 10. I'm going to keep the Titans here in my top 10. I like this team a lot. We know they're super limited. Mike Vrabel's defense was so beat up. I know they played a terrible Denver team, but if it wasn't for one busted play, Denver didn't get into the red zone. I'm not even sure if Denver crossed midfield. His defense has been lights out. Coach Vrabel is fantastic on the defense. The offense is the offense. It runs through Derrick Henry. You need the king to be chunking off yards. When you don't, you're really going to struggle. But hey, they threw the ball okay this week. I mean, they had a receiver they didn't have a receiver catch a pass 2 weeks ago with Malik Willis, and then they had a guy go for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Tannehill back. They're a much better offense. They still lean heavily on Derrick Henry. Would have liked them to score a little bit more points, but hey, Denver's a really good defense, and they were coming off a bye. We'll really see Tennessee if they're a reasonable team at Green Bay on a short week. This is where coaching matters. This is where dog matters. They're just pretty beat up. They're going to win the AFC South. Most likely, pending a collapse, maybe somebody can muster something up. But they're going to get a home game again. We know how that went last year. Hopefully, they can possibly win it this year. Interesting team, physical team. I like Tennessee. If they could get a good quarterback and some good wide receivers, this team would be real scary. But that's pretty much their bar, and we know what they're going to do in the playoffs, most likely. Okay, number 9, I got Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Another team on a bye. They blew the shit out of Carolina 2 weeks ago. They're in second place in the division. They're right there. Offense has been humming the last few weeks. Absolutely love that they got Joe Mixon involved. They got to run the football, okay? Survive the storm with Jamar Chase, one of the best wide receivers in the league, out, and you're in really good shape. Sneaky good defense. A lot of no-name guys on that defense, but they're very good, and they're very good in the second half. Absolutely shutting teams down. They had one bad week against Cleveland, but, you know, division games on the road are just weird sometimes, man. I know Cleveland's not that good, but sometimes it happens. Bengals got to keep establishing the run. They got to keep pounding the rock. I don't know how good the Bengals are going to be, but I think they're one of the few teams that could possibly go into Kansas City and beat Kansas City in a playoff game. They just have already done it before. They're one of the few teams I believe in. It's a lot stacked against them, but they're a very interesting team moving forward. They may not win the division, but they could go on a wild card run. This is a very good offense that's playing really good defense on top of it. Okay, number 8. I'm going to keep Miami here. I know some other people have them higher. I'm not fully in on the Miami train. Mike McDaniel's doing a great job. He is carving people up as a play caller. They do the most motion in the NFL. They really catch defenses out-leveraged, out of position. So he's doing a great job. He gets the ball to Tyreek Hill. He gets the ball to Jalen Waddle. Say what you want about Tua. He might be limited. He's 8-0 his last 8 starts. He was been on a tear since the halfway part of last season. He's really accurate. He's really efficient with the ball. Doesn't turn the ball over. The defense is a bit of a concern. They shut down Cleveland, but Cleveland's so one-dimensional. Their defense played better this week. I'll give them that, but they're very if, that, and the other. They're kind of all over the place. Not sold on the defense. Offense is very good. Will it travel in these cold weather games? It's going to get cold here real fast. It was cold most of the places this weekend. It's nice that you play in Miami. Hey, and it's great that you're in first place in the AFC East. But the rest of your division, you still got to go play in Buffalo. You still got to go play in New York, I believe. Probably got to go play in New England, too. I don't know. Maybe they've already beaten in New England. But we'll see what they can do moving forward in the cold weathers, in the bad games. Interesting team, like what they're doing. I'm not 110% in on the Dolphins. But hey, I could be totally wrong. They're in first place. We'll see. Number 7, this was probably a controversial pick for a lot of people. I'm going to drop the Cowboys down here to 7. I maybe could have kept them at 6. I maybe could have slid them to 8, past Miami. I think 7's okay. It was a disastrous loss. They're on notice, Dallas. They got absolutely carved up, this elite number 1 defense. All we hear about how great it is. Green Bay gashed them on the ground, pounded the rock, slowed down that pass rush, and Christian Watson, the rookie, going for 3 touchdowns, completely inexcusable for Dallas. Dallas lives and breathes playing pass rush and zone defense, and once they got to get out of that zone defense, their corners are real dog shit and man. So that's what Green Bay did. Dallas's weakness right there. If you can force them to play man coverage, you will destroy them on the outside. They can't run with receivers. It's a real problem. Mike McCarthy, not the best coach in the world. I mean, he does an okay job. And the offense, you got to keep running the ball. Tony Pollard, another solid day. I liked the commitment in overtime against Green Bay when all the wheels in the wagon had fallen off. You couldn't even believe you were in overtime to run the ball. You got down there. Questionable call on third down, absolutely be. Sometimes you got to build that in. It is Green Bay. It is going to happen. I'm worried about Dak. He has the second lowest completion percentage in the NFL, history, since, Tim Tebow on third and fourth down this season. He's been horrible on third and fourth down. He is not good sitting in the pocket, trying to pick apart the defenses. He's really lost an extra step without running the ball. He used to be so deadly, moving the pocket, rolling out, throwing on the run, and he just doesn't have it anymore since he blew up that ankle a few seasons ago. So I'm going to drop Dallas down here. They showed some real vulnerability. Now, saying that, I'm almost 100% sure they're going to beat Minnesota in Minnesota this week in a bounce-back game, but we'll see. You lose to Minnesota, you're really starting to show flaws, and you could be 2-3 games back of second place in the division. That means you're going on the road somewhere you really don't want to go, and I don't think this team travels super well. They have one home playoff win. That's it under Dak. This is a really teetering point in the season for the Cowboys. It could all go to shit real fast, or they could still keep being dominant. It's all about adjustments. How are you going to adjust, Dallas? For now, I'm going to keep you at 7. Okay, number 6, the San Francisco 49ers. Going to bump them up a spot here. Not a very impressive win against the Chargers, and the Chargers were so beat up. They kind of let the Chargers hang around, but hey, they just win football games, honestly. Jimmy G, 10-2 in games where he starts and doesn't throw a touchdown pass. What is that stat? He's not very good. If he can avoid turning the ball over, they win football games. He makes some throws when he needs to. They got to keep running the ball more. I thought they got away from the run a little bit too quickly. You just traded for Christian McCaffrey. I know Debo was back this week, coming off an injury. The team needs to get healthier. They are right there in the NFC West, and they've already won 3 games in the division. So they're sitting real nice to probably get a home playoff game, and then they're going to have to go on the road. They got a lot of playoff experience. They got a lot of road experience. Defense getting healthier. Offense getting healthier. This is a scary team, but sometimes I really don't trust Kyle Shanahan in big spots to protect leads or go win the game late. So for right now, I'm going to keep the Niners at 6. I think this is a good team, but I do see some holes there that need to be addressed. Number 5, Baltimore Ravens, +1 spot for the Ravens. They were on a bye. Good team. I like this team. The defense is humming. They were one of the worst defenses in football. They traded for Roquan Smith. Lights out addition. They were great in New Orleans. They're very Lamar reliant on offense. They have to run the ball successfully. They're doing an okay job running the ball. I know they're down to their third back with Kenyon Drake. Gus Edwards hopefully is back. They were missing Mark Andrews. Hopefully he's back, a top tight end. Lamar's playing out of his mind. The question is, can Lamar go on the road in bad weather and go do that? I don't know. But the defense being a much improved defensive unit is really going to help things out a lot. They're starting to feel like the old Baltimore Ravens teams that you were kind of worried about in the playoffs. It's all on Lamar. He wants to go get that contract. Go win me a damn playoff game. I like the Ravens. They just get owned by the Chiefs is the problem. So they're probably going to win this division. Cincinnati's sneaky good, but they're probably going to win this division. Get a home playoff game. You got to win that game. Then go on the road and prove me something. At Buffalo, maybe you get lucky. Maybe you're at Miami, or God forbid, you're at the Chiefs coming off a bye. That's where they don't want to be. So Ravens, really, really show me something down here. Lamar, prove it to me. Go earn that contract, my man. Okay, number 4, I'm dropping them down finally. The Buffalo Bills. Yes, they're down to number 4. Absolute disaster in Buffalo, man. They dominated the Vikings for about 2.5 quarters. They were up 17 in the third quarter, then one Dalvin Cook scamper, and it all fell apart. They did a nice job tying the game to send it to overtime, but they should have never been in that situation. They got the goal line stop. Josh Allen, so many turnovers. 3 turnovers in the red zone or his own end zone. I mean, he fumbled the game away and gave Minnesota a touchdown. That's inexcusable. The interception to lose the game on Pat P, just bad. He's turning into a gunslinger, wild card man. This is what he was before Brian Daboll kind of slowed things down, calmed it, massaged him, worked it a little bit. And you see what he's doing in New York with Daniel Jones. Josh Allen really needs that. He's kind of a wild card, kind of Brett Favre, man. He just is a gunslinger, sling it. He's got to get out of his own way sometimes. It's going to cost you. You really can't play that style of football anymore. That's the old days where that shit worked. Doesn't work so much now. They're all or nothing offense. It's really hurting them. Run the damn football, Buffalo. I mean, Devin Singletary is nice. I like what I see from him. You just got to commit to running the football with your running back and not just running Josh Allen. They really got to get this figured out. It's all on the offense. Defense is really good. They struggle some. They got gashed a little bit. Obviously, Dalvin Cook had a big day. I mean, they were all over Justin Jefferson. He went for a $193, but good God, they were missing Jordan Poyer. They were missing Tre'Davious White. So they were missing some good guys on the back end. But I mean, but they were on Jefferson. You know, they covered him. It's just sometimes better beats good. You know what I'm saying? So not terrible for Buffalo. Is concerning that they're sitting in third place right now, and they've already lost to the Jets and the Dolphins. Not good at all. But I think this is a very good team. I think this is a loss that really snaps them up, wakes them up, gets them refocused. They're now got an uphill battle to go catch Kansas City and keep that home field advantage that they earned beating Kansas City head-to-head. So, for right now, Buffalo at 4. Okay, I'm finally going to do it. Number 3, my Minnesota Vikings. What else can you say about this team? All they do is win close games. It's absolutely unbelievable. 8-1, 7 straight wins. Their only loss at Philadelphia on Monday night. Say what you want about Kirk Cousins and his primetime limitations. The man is a cold-blooded assassin in 1 p.m. games. Absolutely great. They were getting punched, beat up, dragged through the mud for 2.5 quarters against Buffalo. There's absolutely no quitting this team. I'm being cautiously optimistic about them. I know deep down it's all going to go horribly for me as a Vikings fan. But hey, they can run the football. They have the best wide receiver in the league. Justin Jefferson's really establishing himself. He just wins one-on-one matchups. The defense, they are a super bend, don't break defense. They give up 1 million yards passing. They give up 1 million yards rushing, but they force turnovers like nobody's business. They're great in the secondary at forcing interceptions. They're great at forcing fumbles, and they get after quarterbacks. So they're really a bend, don't break. The real concerning thing about this team is they're awful in the red zone on defense. The offense is pretty good. It wasn't great against Buffalo this week, but the defense is a concern. They're one of the worst red zone defenses, and you can't do that against the top teams in the NFL. They beat Buffalo, who we all know is a good team. We think they're a top team. I've had them as a top team. So I got to put the Vikings here at number 3. Got the Cowboys this week, Patriots on Thanksgiving at night, and then the Jets. 3 home games. I need to see 3 wins. If you can get 2 wins, that's good. 3-0, and you're definitely for real an elite team. This is all going to pay dividends. They can't win every game like this, one score late. Nobody does. But it's really going to help when you're in this game late, tight, close, down. You're never out in the playoffs because that's how every playoff game goes. So that's a real big bonus for this team. You got to maybe get a new kicker because he can't make extra points. But for right now, Vikings at number 3, solidly the second best team in the NFC. I mean, there's a chance they could go take the number 1 spot if the Eagles trip up. Okay, at number 2, I got to flip-flop this week. Eagles at number 2. The undefeated season is over. I'm really not going to punish them too hard. A lot of people didn't see them losing this game. I warned everybody last week on the live stream. The Commanders should make this game interesting. I didn't think they would end up losing this game. I thought they'd win a close one. But hey, they hadn't trailed in the second half all season, and they trailed this week, and we saw them kind of fold. I'd be a little concerned about the Eagles. I can't put them below Minnesota. They beat Minnesota head-to-head. pretty convincingly in week 2. It was at home, but still, I think they're the best team in the NFC. But there's a lot of holes there. Not good down the stretch late. The turnover bounces started going against them. 3 turnovers this week. They had 3 turnovers total through the first 8 weeks of the season. So not good. Very concerning if you're an Eagles fan. Thank the Lord the schedule isn't too tough, so they're going to have a good shot at locking up home field, winning this division. They already have the tiebreaker over Minnesota, and the rest of the division are the other teams chasing them. So if you can win the division, you're probably going to win the 1 seed unless you really start slipping up. Very interesting to see moving forward, but I'd be a little concerned, Eagles fans. You had some calls go against you, you had some bounces go against you, and you did not respond positively. But for right now, they're number 2, and we got a very solid number 1. They're my Super Bowl pick right now. I would bet them if you could. I really don't see this team losing in the playoffs, so I think we all know who it is. Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm really in love with this football team. They do so much, so well. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet. It's not really that close. Andy Reid, a fantastic head coach. He knows how to draw it up with the best of them. They had Jacksonville at home. They took care of business. The defense on the back end is very concerning. I shouldn't say very. It's a little concerning. They're not very good on the back end. The pass rush has to get home for this team. But hey, if you got to score 40 points, there's no other offense and quarterback I'd rather have to go score 40 points. I don't think it'll get to that point. They also own most of the teams they're going to see in the playoffs. They're already the 1 seed again. You're going to have to go through Arrowhead. That's a super tough place to play. They've played 4 straight AFC Championship games in Arrowhead. This is a great team all around. I like the addition of Kadarius Toney. I wasn't super sold on it. He looked great this weekend. You got to see how Valdez-Scantling and Juju are dealing. They got a little knocked out this weekend, so we got to see how the injury situation plays out. But Chiefs, in a decent division, we thought, running away with this thing, it feels like. I just don't see anybody going to be able to prevail when the chips are down. It's Kansas City every day and twice on Sunday. Okay, that's going to do it for us this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who am I too high on? Who am I too low on? It's really starting to get to the fun part of the season. We're almost at Thanksgiving. The weather's getting colder. The ball's getting physical. It's really, really fun. It's going to be a blast down the stretch. Again, like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. New videos every single weekday. Sports Stat Fact of the Day every single day, weekends included. Live streams on Monday. And we will see you guys again here for week number 12 next week.